Once you have your Blender animation completed, you can save that animation as a movie. So if I show you right now, I've got my camera view in this window. If I scrub across my timeline, you'll see that I've animated the camera to a number of different keyframe positions. If I want to save that as a movie, I come over here to my render panel. In the render panel, we have a couple different buttons. We're not interested in the render button itself, but the animation. That's what's actually going to render and create the movie. Before we do that, we want to make sure we have the correct settings. I don't want to be using the DVC Pro HD 720p. I'm going to be using the 4.3 NTSC, and you'll see that it actually changes the camera viewfinder because that aspect ratio and size is different than the one that was currently selected. I can control a number of different things. I could change the actual size of that viewfinder. The frame rate's what I'm interested in changing, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that. I'm going to change mine to 15 frames per second. Now remember that this is affecting the rendered movie's frame rate, not the frame rate that's in Blender. What I can also change is where it's going to be saved to. So I'm going to go ahead and click the little folder here and make sure that it's set to my desktop. Wherever I've set it to, then I want to make sure that I do an accept. If I scroll down a little bit further, you'll see that it's currently set to save it as a JPEG. I don't want that. I want to be saving mine in a movie file format. And what's going to work well is the QuickTime file format. And once I've selected that, I can also choose a video codec that would be appropriate. There's a number of different ones, and I'm going to leave it as the H.264. That's going to do a really good job in both quality and file size. So once those are set, I can come back up, click on my animation button, and let it go through the process of rendering each one of those frames. So I have a total of 120 frames in this piece. It's going to have to go through and use those to create my movie. So we'll let it go through. And you can see that it's continuing to work on through. We're up to frame 40. And we're getting close. We're about halfway right about now. Up to frame 60. It's going to move the camera on down. And then once that camera gets to the lowest most position, then that last keyframe just keeps the camera in that last position, holds it there for 30 more frames. So it's going ahead, still rendering the video. And again, I have this set to my desktop, so as soon as this is done, I'll hide Blender and we'll take a look at the file. Alright, so Blender's all done creating the movie. I'm going to go ahead and hide Blender. And then here's the movie that it just created. So I'm going to double click on this, let it open up in QuickTime. So you can see we now have a 15 frame per second video. The whole thing is 1.7 megabytes in size. I can click through and scrub, and we can see we've got my whole movie, or just let it play and get an idea of the actual speed of the animation and movie. Alright, so that is how you create your QuickTime movie from your Blender animation. Thank you.